Yep. Thank you, Don. Good morning, everybody. So I'm going to be here today talking to you about Contravision perforated window film. If you haven't heard of our company, know that our company has been around for quite some time, kind of at the beginning. Contravision is the true original inventors of perforated window film. Contravision actually had the patent for it back in 1984. So we've been around for a while, and we know what we're doing in the field of perforated window film, even if you haven't had a chance to hear about us. So we'll go in right now. Just real quick, we cover the entire United States. There's a number of us that work for the company. I cover the entire Western United States, including Texas. And then we have Patrick Henrietta. He covers kind of the Midwest, Central United States. We have Eric Bartos. He covers the Northeast. And then we have Emily Huynh. She covers the Southeast. So kind of like the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. So that's where she's going to cover. But we're all here to support, of course, Reece Supply. So, they're going to be your first line of contact. And, if for whatever crazy reason you can't get a hold of somebody, you can more than welcome to give any of us a call, and then we'll connect with Reece and we'll get you going. Okay, so that's all of us. So first question that I said earlier about, if you haven't heard of Contravision, we're the original inventors of one-way vision graphics with over 30 years of experience. And again, we are the patent holders for it. Of course, patents expire, and that's why kind of everybody makes it now. All we do is perforated window film. We don't do anything but perforated window film. So we have a very large variety of films, but at the same time, we have we really know what we're doing with it, and we're going to go over some innovative things that a product that we've had on the market by this kind of fall. We've had the product for 3 years, and we get lots of people trying to copy it, but nobody has been able to. We're a specified product for many major projects worldwide. So rest assured that if some of these really big brands are using it, you can use it too, and you'll be happy to see that our price point actually isn't even an out of control number. You'll look at us and like, well, you know what? It's a little bit more, but this is why we're specified on some of these really, really major projects. Many roll options and transparencies, as I mentioned before, because perforated window film's all that we do. And then also last thing is something that we call Contravision project lifetime value. We're really looking at the entire spectrum of how the product works, how it installs, how long it stays on the glass, and then also your removal. So we're not really concerned with only one particular thing, like, oh, once you print on it, that's where the end of what we care about is. Okay, we're looking at the entire cycle of your project. So here's a project that we did recently, earlier this year, with one of my particular big accounts in the Phoenix area. This is a building wrap done for BMW at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. This was just earlier this year. So this hotel, if you've been to Vegas, it's literally right next door to the Las Vegas Convention Center. Okay, this was done in Contravision 30%, and you can see, even though there's not many windows, it's actually all over the building. It's a very interesting thing of how they do this. So this was a project earlier this year that we've done. Here's another project that we did, this one in Chicago, Illinois, for the NBA All-Star Game. This is just one of many buildings that they covered. This particular product was actually Contravision 20% that they had all over the glass. You can actually see on the right side, kind of by where the tree is, there's an area where it's not fully covered, and that's the area where they were working. So they're kind of making their way around the building. Here's another project that we were involved in, same customer. This was in 2018. This was for the NBA All-Star Game in Los Angeles, California. What you only see is only two sides right now, but they actually wrapped this entire hotel. This was down in downtown LA at Staples Center. This was probably the biggest NBA project to date. This one was close to 90,000 square feet in perforated window film. So kind of a lot going on. This was all done in 30% window perf. Okay. So let's look at some projects from other perforated films. These are projects that I have seen firsthand myself, that just walking around and, traveling throughout the country, these are things that I see. This is a project that I saw actually near my house at Kohl's. We have a little bit of an issue of removing window perf, and I didn't see anybody standing there at all trying to remove this, but it was partially removed, and I think they got frustrated with it, and then they decided to just leave it. I don't know if an employee was removing it, or maybe somebody else wanted to vandalize it and remove it, but it's kind of weird. The door to the right is completely clean, so my guess is somebody was cleaning it or trying to remove it from the glass. Here's another one, literally right next door to my house. Somebody removing some window perf, and it doesn't look like it's coming off very well. If it's coming off in little pieces like this. And this is like what I said earlier about we're looking at the entire project life cycle. Great, it prints nice. Great, it installed easy. But the last part is, does it actually remove? Some people don't care if it removes or not, but a lot, window graphics is supposed to be temporary. We want to change it, so therefore we have to remove it. And then here's another project. This one might have been up for a while. This one is also facing north, I believe. Yeah, it was facing north, so it's not like it gets a ton of sun, but obviously starting to peel off. This was also on a second story, so it's probably not the easiest to get up there and remove later on also. So as I mentioned earlier, Contravision, we have a very, very wide variety of films that are available on the market. We have an exclusive HD, which I'll talk about in a moment. We have 20% for maximum image impact, maximum privacy. You're going to use that if you care most about image quality. You really don't care about your view through. Okay. Next one is going to be 30%. That's one that we kind of sell the most of, and it's a little skewed number because that's also the one that we use for building wraps, or our customers use for building wraps a lot. So therefore, you're getting these massive numbers on projects. That NBA All-Star game in 2018, I mean, that was close to 90,000 square feet. The 2021 was close to 40,000 square feet. So that number goes up very, very quickly just because of how much material is used for these projects. 40%, also known as 60-40, by far the most popular because it's kind of in the middle of everything. People use it for vehicles, people use it for building wraps, retail, you name it. And the last one, 50%, right? The most transparency. You're not going to get as much image vibrancy, but what you will get is transparency. So people do use this a lot. People do use it on vehicles a lot because obviously you want to see out of your windows. But I do not believe that there are any true regulations on you have to use 50%. The regulation states that you can't have anything on your driver's side or passenger side front windows, and you got to have 2 mirrors. Those are DOT regulations for vehicles. So that's why sometimes there are panel vans or box vans that literally have no windows or they have windows, but they're kind of covered up from the factory already. Okay. So you can't use any of the other transparencies on your windows as well. But cycle back, the exclusive one we have is HD, and it's a truly amazing product. So we'll talk about that in a moment. So our ranges of product, super, super easy. No weird names and, weird names to think about when you're trying to remember our product, okay? We have a product line called Performance. We have a product line called Campaign, okay? And both of these product lines come in all the transparencies. So if it's a situation where you need a more cost-effective solution and you want to go with Campaign and you want 60-40, we have it in that. It's not going to be a situation where it's like, oh, you wanted 60-40. Sorry, it only comes in our high-performance product, okay? So both ranges have all the transparencies except for Campaign. Campaign, one thing is it doesn't have HD. HD only comes in Performance. Okay, so really, really easy to remember. Now, What are the differences between the two? Okay. With Performance, it's a 7 mil vinyl. Okay. With Campaign, it's a 6 mil vinyl. Now, your traditional vinyls that you're using for your everyday signage, whether it's real estate signs or window graphics or even sometimes wrapping vehicles, with a calendared vinyl, those vinyls are about 4 mil. So you can look at Campaign, it's 6 mil. I mean, it's 50% thicker. Performance is at 7 mils. Now, when you look at the differences between the two, you look at Campaign and Performance, the increase only looks like 1 mil. And it's like, well, it doesn't really seem like a whole lot. 1 mil is very, very thin. However, 1 mil increase in thickness is close to 17% increase in thickness. So Performance is a 3-year product, whereas Campaign's a 2-year product. You need that extra thickness because you need that extra strength in the product. Okay, because it's going to go through more seasons of heat cycles, hot and cold, and then you want that film to be nice and thick and strong so that when you go to peel it off, we don't get that scenario in those images that I showed you earlier where the window perf is breaking into a bunch of pieces. Sure, there are, I've heard many times, many examples where you could just buy a scraper and just scrape it off the glass. Well, when you're dealing with maybe a large hotel like the Marriott, can you really go through that and scrape it off the glass for fear of maybe damaging the glass? In some situations, that doesn't really work. Performance is a polymeric vinyl. Campaign is a monomeric vinyl. Okay, so your polymeric is going to shrink a little bit less, and it's going to be stronger. Okay, whereas Campaign is your monomeric vinyl. It's going to shrink a little bit over time, and it's not as strong. But it kind of doesn't need to be because its outdoor durability is only rated up to 2 years. Okay, so that's where we kind of change the product. Okay, we have actually the same adhesive on both products. I didn't mention this in the slide, but with our Performance and Campaign, they actually use the same adhesive. So we don't skimp on using a lower quality adhesive because the adhesive really truly is the magic sauce in all of this. It's got to stick really well, and when it's time to remove it, it's got to come off the glass. Because a lot of times we've seen window perf come off the glass, but all the adhesive is still left on the glass. Now you got to clean it. Okay, so both products do share the same adhesive. We have different liner options with Performance. Okay, so different liner options are going to be if you are printing UV, or if you're not printing UV and you're printing with a latex or an eco solvent, we have different liner options over there. Campaign, we only offer our universal liner. Okay, so universal liner, again, being it works on all inkjet printers. And Performance, again, up to 3 years outdoor durability. Campaign, up to 2 years. These ratings are based off of the ability to remove, and it doesn't necessarily mean that after 2 or 3 years, the product just falls off the glass. Okay, these products will, if installed correctly, will stay on the glass for, kind of as long as you want. But after 2 or 3 years, depending on the product that you use, we can't guarantee that the product will come off the glass with minimal tear and minimal adhesive residue. Okay, but these are going to be the key takeaways. Really, are the differences in the vinyl. We've engineered Campaign to be a lower cost vinyl because it only needs to stay up for 2 years versus Performance. That's a lot more time. So here's the 5 reasons why we're the #1 choice with specifiers and printers. So we have a product that you can achieve what you're trying to create, right? Lots of options. Again, 20%, 30, 40, 50, and in our exclusive product, HD. All of our products actually use the same diameter of perforations. It's just that they're spaced out differently. Okay. Printing results. We use a film actually from Germany. Our product is manufactured overseas, but the film comes from Germany, and the adhesive comes from Europe, and then it's just manufactured in China at our factory where it's punched, adhesive is put on it, and then it's shipped over. We're very, very keen about protecting our intellectual property, so therefore there's not much information out there as far as where things come from. But that's the basis of our material. These last 3 things are the things that I really actually want to emphasize with our product, and its installation is going to be really easy. Our campaign product, again, 6 mils thick, performance 7 mils thick. These are very thick vinyls that are very easy to manipulate and very easy to control. I can show you right here with the sample right here. This is a 50% sample, and you can see that it kind of doesn't, it's not very thin where it flops all over the place. Actually, it can stand up if it wants to, even though it is, it's perforated. Okay, so we want a film that's actually very strong like this, because then it makes it very easy to handle. And if it makes it very easy to handle, it's very easy to install. A lot of times with regular vinyls, when people are doing large windows, they either wet the window using a wet application, or what they do is they also apply masking tape, right, or a transfer tape, right, because they need the tape to generate extra thickness so that the material is easier to handle. Contravision at 6 mil campaign and performance at 7 mil isn't necessarily the case. And on top of this, people don't realize, but when you punch all these perforations through it, it makes the product a lot weaker. You know, 50%, this is a 40% transparency, but this particular product, I mean, we've punched out 40% of the material. So therefore, the material should be a lot weaker than it was if it was a solid material. Okay. So really, really easy to install. Okay. Mentioned earlier about our adhesive being the magic sauce. The adhesive really is the key thing in all of this. And that's why we use the same adhesive for both of our high performance product and our short-term campaign product. We just can't skimp on the adhesive. You know, if you're going to skimp on the adhesive, you're truly just creating an inferior product. And when we came out with campaign, we actually came out with performance first. People loved it. But, you know, the price point is higher, and, you know, not everybody needs a 3-year product if their window perf only needs to stay up for 6 months. So therefore, we analyzed and found out, okay, why do people like our product so much? So the important product was they liked how it installed. They liked how it was very forgiving. They liked how it stayed on the window. They liked how when you removed it, all the adhesive came off, very minimal residue. And then also the film doesn't break, right? So how do we save some money? Well, we can change the film to make the film last for the amount of years that it is. Okay. So the on-window peace of mind is something that is very important, because a lot of times I know a lot of shops, it's just, hey, throw it up, and then, you know, as long as it stays up, we're out of here. But, you know, how long does it stay up, and how long does it look good for? I challenge everybody to go around your city to look at all the window graphics that are up. And I have a massive number of pictures on my cell phone of window perf that's failing. And some of them looks very fresh, because you look at it like, well, the colors are very vibrant still, but the perf is coming off the glass, okay? So, and then the last one, which is I think what a lot of people don't consider, and a lot of other manufacturers don't consider, is the clean removal, where you have minimal tearing, very minimal adhesive residue. If we look back at some of those large projects that we did, with you know, that building, CES building in Vegas, that was I believe that was 25,000 square feet. NBA All-Star Game in 2020, that was 40,000 square feet. NBA All-Star Game in 2018, that was close to 90,000 square feet. When you remove 90,000 square feet of window perf, you do not have time to sit there, pick it off the glass, and scrape it off the glass. And that's why for these very large scale projects, our product is used. Now, if you're a smaller business, and, you know, I've seen this many times in my travels, where maybe the wife is working for doing the printing, maybe there's a graphic designer, and then the husband is out doing the installs, doing the sales, doing the site surveys. When you're a small crew, time is your most valuable piece of your business. That's the one thing in life that you just never get back. And you got to be able to go out, do a job, make sure that it's reliable, it sticks, and then go home, work on the next project the next day. Not go home and then worry that I hope that this project stays up, right? Because if you have to go back and you have to remove that project, or you have to reinstall it due to a product failure, it doesn't even matter if I told everybody, hey, your product is free, but it's going to fail. Nobody's going to buy it, right? Or nobody's even going to want to take it for free at that point, okay? So the quick and clean removal is really a key to our product and the success of our product. And it's something that I believe everybody should consider when they are choosing a window perf. Okay, so here's the performance, white on black. This is our product that uses a 1 millimeter micro perforation. This is one of those products that you truly have to see to believe. So everybody here, as long as your contact information is in, I will make sure that I send you out a set of all of our window perfs. They're little swatches, and you can check them out for yourself. But the HD is really amazing. Hopefully some of these photos will convey that. So here's an example of HD. Those people right there, they're printed, so they're not. It's a part of the graphic. They're not inside or anything like that. But this is at I believe it's a museum over in the UK in Manchester, England. This is a view out of that same window. So that same window is actually on the left of the screen right here. So you can see from a distance, I would estimate that the person taking the photo is probably standing maybe 10 feet away, and it kind of truly looks like solid vinyl when we look on the inside, on the left side, and you can see how clear that is to just look right through it. Here's another example of two products side by side. So the product on the left is our Performance HD, and the product on the right is our Performance white on black. Okay, both products are the same 40%. Okay, and that's what makes this product really amazing. It's the same 40%, but you can see on the right side, you can actually see the perforations. Whereas on the left side, the HD product, you really don't notice the perforations as much. So this is great for those retail opportunities where you have a lot of people that are going to be upfront and close with the graphic, but at the same time, you really need that visibility. So let's check out that visibility. This is the same window, but now we're looking on the inside, looking out, and you can see how much clearer Performance HD white on black is. Okay, versus on the right side, you can see that you can really make out those perforations. All of our standard perforation uses a 1.6 millimeter diameter perforation. With HD, again, we've gone to a 1 millimeter, right? So we've reduced it significantly. And what it does is it creates this really fine mesh. I always use the example of like the screen mesh on your windows at home, right? You know that screen is there, but when you're sitting or standing a certain distance from it, it kind of really disappears. And that's what we were trying to achieve with HD. We were trying to achieve excellent print quality, but at the same time, just amazing visibility and see-through. Truly a product that you'll have to see, and I hope that you have all your information in so that I can get these samples out to you if you haven't seen it. Okay, last thing I'm just going to cover real quick is, there's really two options, right? When you're selecting a product, you save money, or do you want to add value and potentially save money as well, right? So I looked at some products out there on the market. If you buy a decent quality perforated window film from any of your suppliers, it's going to cost roughly around $400, $425. Now, of course, I've heard of customers going on eBay and buying window perf for $150, and I'm sure that will work for a short period of time. But the question is, you're taking a gamble on that, right? So Contravision Performance, a full roll, 54 inch by 150 feet. It's roughly about $850 for a full roll. Okay, so it's not an inexpensive product, but I think for sure the value is there. Okay, and I estimated that if you were working on a project, let's say the project used up the entire roll, right? So that means with the Contravision product, you're spending $425 more for just the cost of material. Your installation time will be the same. Let's say you contract somebody to install this window perf. They charge you $2 a square foot. That's pretty standard. You're gonna spend about $1,350 on installation costs. Okay, but my question is, what if product A fails? Right? How much money can you potentially lose? How much time can you waste? And also potentially, what happens to your reputation? Right? The client may not say anything to you because they go, well, it's only appealing a little bit, right? We all have our different perceptions of what good quality is and what we're happy with, right? Some people who know they spent very little see the product fail and they go, well, I didn't really spend a lot. Some people spend a little, see the product fail, and they still get angry as if they spent $1 million on the project, okay? But what happens to your reputation? Some underlying costs of using an inexpensive material, especially window perf. Personally, if I was to make a real estate sign, even if I had vinyl that was 5 years old, I can probably use that vinyl because it's just going on coroplast. The adhesive is probably very aggressive at that point because it's so old. That's what happens to adhesive when it gets really old. It gets very, very sticky. And that's one of the things that happens when people check out our window perf. They grab it and then they feel the stickiness. Because if you look at all the window perf installations out there, it's typically falling off the glass or it's peeling on the corner somehow. Okay. So what if the adhesive fails, right? Well, if you were to print 675 square feet, depending on the type of equipment you have, if you have a ViewTech, then, it's going to knock this out 675 square feet in an hour. But if you're like a lot of shops, where you have maybe an HP Latex or a Roland or a Mamaki or a Muto, even an Epson, a Seiko, right? Most of those printers run at a quality of about 100 square feet an hour, right? So it would take you roughly about 7 hours to reprint the job, right? If you're charging $5 a square foot to print the job, but you have to reprint it, you're spending close to $3,300, $3,400 just reprinting the job. That's your opportunity cost loss. Now you got to also go back. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and say it only takes 2 hours to remove, and you're paying somebody $40 an hour, or that's your company cost to remove it. And then now you have to reinstall it, right? Pay another $1,350 to reinstall. Your potential loss for this job could be over $5,000, but your actual savings is only really up, a maximum of $425. So it just really depends on the project. You wouldn't use Contravision Performance if the customer was only going to use they only needed the window perf up for 3 months. It's way overkill, right? Some people may even think it's overkill to use Campaign or 2-year product for that such a short period of time, right? But if you're looking for peace of mind, you're looking for a quality product, maybe you have a contract with this particular customer where you're going to be doing the installation, right? It's going to stay up, and then you're going to do the removal, and then you're going to install new graphics. Maybe you have that contract where you're constantly going back and installing new graphics for that customer. You're really going to want a product that removes easy. That way you can come there 2-3 years later, peel it off the glass, give it a quick wipe down. You're ready to install again, rather than scraping it off the glass, cleaning the adhesive, getting Goog on, wiping the glass down, cleaning, spending all this excessive time cleaning the glass. And it already takes a lot of time cleaning windows at home. Imagine if you're cleaning 675 square feet of windows. That is a ton of surface area to cover. And imagine, again, look back at some of those projects that we did with the NBA and also for BMW. If you're trying to remove 40, 50, 60, 70,000 square feet of window perf, there's no time to clean, right? It needs to be, we peel it off, we throw it in the trash, right? Maybe we give it a quick wipe down, but there's no scraping of any adhesive, okay? And time's the one thing, again, that you just never get back in life.